What's up, team? We're gonna jump right into calf and Achilles loading, low-hanging fruit for lower leg durability with your athletes. I think the lower leg, the calf muscles, the Achilles tendon, the feet, super important area of the body that we often overlook, underappreciate, and undertrain when it comes to developing long-term athleticism, strength, and power. So think of it like this, right? If I'm gonna jump and land, what is the most important area of the body, right? Think of what's the last thing that touches the ground when I jump, my feet. What's the first thing that touches the ground when I land? My feet. Your big toe, your arch of your foot, your heel, your calf muscles, your Achilles tendon, and then it goes up the chain. So super important area that we often just don't load it enough. And so in my opinion, a very simple and easy way to begin adding in lower leg training, so calf muscle and Achilles tendon training in your athletes' programs is as easy as this. 1 or 2 times a week, you can add in any of these exercises. They can be body weight, you can add bands, you can add light dumbbells, kettlebells, barbell, Smith machine, whatever. I don't care, as long as you begin to directly load those areas, that's important. 2 things that we have to really understand though. Number 1 is the calf muscles is broken up into the triceps surae. Gastrocnemius or gastroc muscle takes over when we're standing, doing standing heel raises. The soleus muscle, deep to beneath the gastroc and a little bit closer to the Achilles tendon anatomically, takes on the majority of the load when our knees are bent to roughly 60 degrees or more of knee flexion. So if I'm sitting down or if I'm simply just in this position here. Understanding that both are important is number 1, so load them both in some way, shape, or form. And number 2 is the Achilles tendon will benefit regardless as long as you're training any of the plantar flexors, which are the triceps surae. Now, I'm not trying to neglect anterior tibialis or dorsiflexion based muscles. I think you should be training those as well. I just think that the guys and gals in the back, the calf muscle, the gastroc, soleus, and Achilles are just a little bit more important per the literature and what the research tells us. So simple way to get in some calf training, and I'll show you variations for both gastroc and soleus. Have a wall or a squat rack in front of you, create a roughly 45-degree angle, and all I'm gonna do, without letting my ankles roll at all, that's key, keep the knees over the mid-toe on all of these, is simply go up and down. Notice I'm pausing at the bottom and pausing at the top. So come on up, pause, come on down, pause. Come on up, pause, come on down, pause. I know it's super boring and rudimentary and mundane, but we don't want to use any sort of bouncing yet. We're just trying to load that tissue. Make it harder. I could use some sort of wedge or a slant board like so to get more range of motion. I could elevate the toes or the front third of the foot onto a bumper plate or what have you. If you want to get real fancy, you could use a Smith machine, because with the Smith machine, it takes away the stability and balance challenge, so you can simply just load on a nice railroad track with your barbell. Barbell is on my back, imagine if you can imagine that, and I'm just doing Smith machine barbell heel raises, standing heel raises. Again, that would attack the gastroc. You could also do some unilateral work, same setups. You have the wall or the squat rack in front of you. I have that single leg variation, pause at the top, slowly back down, pause at the bottom, and then so on and so forth. I could do that as well with the weight. I might hold off on loading that with weight, gastrocnemius in a standing heel raise position, just because I think that at that point we're fighting balance regardless of if we're getting support or not from the Smith machine or the SSB. I just think it might be better done doing body weight, getting some range of motion. When we talk about soleus loading, same setup. I have a squat rack or a wall in front of me. I bend the knees to roughly 60 degrees of flexion or more, understanding that I'm going to get some knee joint, knee tendon loading as well, but that's just part of the game. So I'm here, I'm gonna slowly come up, I'm gonna pause, slowly come down, and then repeat that process. Okay, nice and slow. And I'll show both of those from the side. So from the side, the gastroc is gonna be here, come all the way up, pause, come all the way down, pause, so on and so forth. soleus, get that 60 degrees of knee flexion or more. I'm gonna start at the bottom, create a little bit of an angle with my body with respect to what I'm holding on to. Come on up, come on down. Notice my head position. If I'm changing my head position a lot, I'm using too much quads. If I don't change my head position a lot, that means I'm really targeting soleus. You should only see the lower leg move, okay? And again, if you wanna challenge that in a single leg or unilateral variation, same idea. I have the single leg here, I pop up, I pop down. Again, I really think single leg or unilateral loading in a heel raise for gastroc or for soleus is probably better done body weight or with the specific tempo, specific eccentrics, or you can do isometrics. Then you can add load, in my opinion. And I think it makes it a little bit easier for the athlete. You can add load in the form of a kettlebell or a weight if you're doing a single leg isometric gastroc or soleus. So for example, we could load, you can load offset contralaterally or ipsilaterally on the same side, totally up to you. Just want to give you guys some options. So we're here, right leg is working, I pop it up and I hold that for time, okay? Just wanted to give you guys some options, some things to think about when you're trying to figure out, well, how do I add in calf muscle loading, both gastrocnemius and soleus, as well as Achilles tendon loading in my training programs from a strength training standpoint. Trust me when I say that a little bit goes a long way.